So far, 2025 has been another crazy year for layoffs. So far, the tech industry has seen about 110,000 layoffs. And for the job market as a whole, October's job reports showed that 154,000 jobs have been lost in just 1 month. As a software engineer who's personally seen 18 different layoffs, and I've been affected by 3, I wanted to take the time today to talk about how the best way to handle layoffs when they do happen. And even if you haven't been laid off, this is the advice that can help you to hopefully give you more of a softer landing when and if it does happen to you. First thing, stay close to your people. So when you get laid off, you want to stay close to the people that you worked with and also the people that are getting laid off at the same time. It's important to either join the community or build a community about those who have lost their jobs so you guys can all collect data about what kind of places are hiring and what are not. And that way can definitely lead to more job leads and also allow for maybe referrals when someone gets into a different company. Second thing, you have to understand how jobs are filled. So if you're trying to hunt for a new job, you have to understand the job funnel of how job candidates are found and put into these new jobs. The top funnel for anyone trying to fill in their job postings is always going to be internal candidates. Those that actually kind of know the business or are on the team and they're trying to raise to a new level. Those are the people they're going to look for first. Secondly, if there's no internal candidates that are good enough for that kind of job, then they also look for referrals by coworkers or people that are in the company. So that way they have people that other coworkers trust and have worked with before and can refer them into those spots. The next layer, if the first 2 layers fail, then the next layer is kind of recruiter outreach. Not like recruiters posting jobs, but recruiters reaching out to people directly and saying, I think you fit for this job. Now, they can be internal recruiters or third-party recruiters, but that would be kind of the next step if the first 2 don't work. And the fourth and final step of the funnel. So if all these other funnels fail and they don't find a right candidate, then you have what I call the meat grinder, which is like LinkedIn, the job boards. That's the last stage where someone's actually trying to find a proper lead to fill in their job postings. If you understand the funnel, then that should shape how you want to approach your job hunt after being laid off. The third thing is we kind of, especially in tech, especially as tech workers, software engineers, or anyone in this space, we have to recognize that it's a different market. So it's much more competitive. So if you're looking for a remote job, those are much more difficult to find because so many more people are applying to those, and it shows you that you're competing with everyone essentially in the nation. And so when we think about how competitive it is now that we have a tighter job market, you're going to have most people are going to have to find some sort of compromise. Now, those compromises could be no longer remote. You should try to look at companies that are closer to you, like more local companies that you can actually be on site for. People are starting to lean more towards that. Another compromise you might have to do is there's a lot of people getting pay cuts. So if you're trying to aim for a certain price range, just try to knock it down a little bit. If you get to the offer stage and you're able to handle a lower pay, that would be better. You don't want to screen yourself out just because you are asking for a number that was much higher and made more sense in 2021. We just have to recognize that the job hunter is no longer in power mode. The companies are actually bleeding out a lot of their positions, and they're in power and more demanding as far as greater interview practices, longer, more multi-phase interview practices. And also they are in a negotiating power for picking through hundreds, if not thousands of applicants that could fill that job. The last thing I wanted to focus on, and this is the most important, is just kind of the network. Listen, networking can be hard, but you don't want to make it more complicated than it is. Networking almost exclusively is just kind of reaching out and talking to people that you already know, especially when it comes to people in your industry that have the same kind of job, software engineers or product managers or designers. You still live in this space that gives you a bridge of things to talk about. That's an initial way to get in and get to know and build a relationship with people. And the idea of networking, and for this purpose of this video, is networking is increasing the surface area for you to find job leads. Now, if we look at the funnel of how to get a referral or be the people that are able to find and apply to these jobs the very first, to be at the top of the funnel, you're going to find most of those through your own network of people that you know and get a referral from. So if you focus on that, you're going to have higher quality leads and have a better chance of actually getting the interview and landing the job at the end of the day. Listen, I know the job market is awful right now, but there's only one thing I can say is that don't give up. I know it's exhausting, but if you give up, you definitely will not find that next position. It's going to be more difficult in a while before anyone's handing out jobs again. But if you keep going, if you keep trying new things, then you'll open yourself up to new opportunities. I'm not saying it's an easy market, but the idea is to just keep marching forward and trying to be optimistic and try new things and push your limits. Now, if you're a software engineer, I have a free guide that I'm building that's available down below in the comments. Sign up for that if you'd like, and let me know if there's more advice or any questions you have about hunting for jobs. I'm more than happy to help. I respond to every comment essentially. So just sign up for that and I'll be able to send it out to you as soon as I can. Until then, take a look at this video if you enjoyed this one. And also thank you for spending the time and watching to the end of the video. And I'll see you guys around in the next one. Good luck out there.